Hey everyone, welcome to the Let's Be Real podcast. I'm Nain, your host for today's episode, and I'm joined here, as always, by James. How's your weekend been going?
My weekend? Well, it's Sunday, so I got a little bit of time to enjoy the rest of it, but it is going very well. We got to watch the All Blacks last night. That was a good game by the end of it. Yeah,
Australia just caked it.
Yeah, some good memes were born during that game, so I'm looking forward to next week's game. Other than that, it's been quite a nice and relaxing weekend, so I'm doing well. Ready for a very busy week ahead for me and you.
Why?
Because we got the back half of the film festival. I think we got like 5 movies.
Oh yeah, but that's at the end of the week, so it's all good.
Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, yeah.
Pretty much double feature on Saturday as well.
Yeah, and then I'm seeing Oppenheimer again on Sunday. And IMAX is the best seats I could get.
What, front row?
Nah, it was like 5 rows from the front. But I have to take the family to it because I want to see it. So
fair enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone should go see that film. Definitely.
Yes, and go see it in IMAX. No other way to see it.
Go see Oppenheimer. Anyway, here on Let's Be Real, we like to bring you the latest and greatest news from the entertainment industry, from blockbuster hits to indie flicks. We've got you all covered. And if you're a real movie buff, head over to MovieGainz.com for even more exciting content, like box office stats, Oscar predictions, and 4K content. So today we'll be covering box office predictions, our top 5 animated films, Disney no longer releasing physical media in Australia and New Zealand, Mattel open to more Barbie sequels and their own cinematic universe, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem reactions. That is a mouthful.
It is that.
Sony's delays and releases, the Rock's donation, Kevin Spacey, and the Strays trailer. So let's get cracking into it, eh? So obviously this week is the second week of Barbenheimer.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, I think that's what we're going to talk about.
Yep.
So Barbie opened up to 162 million-ish first weekend, and Oppenheimer was around about the 82 mark.
Yeah.
So James, what are you forecasting for this week? I know you did one in the middle of the week-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Has that changed since then?
No, not at all. I'm going to be, again, very close to what was predicted. I keep saying this on Twitter. Deadline and Box Office Pro, they're just playing chess. I'm out here in the multiverse getting everything right. They were forecasting at the start of the week, around the time, just after I dropped my projections down, around like 77 to around 80 million for Barbie and about 40 to 45 million for Oppenheimer. Both are going to exceed that. I projected that Barbie is going to be around 90 million and that Oppenheimer is going to be at the 50 million mark. Now, Barbie has made 29 million on the Friday. And Oppenheimer 13.4 million on the Friday as well. So that means, or how that tracks is that Barbie's going to be around the 90 to 92 million mark, perhaps over 95 if it really holds on the Sunday, which is where I was at. The fact that Box Office Pro had to do, I think, Friday updates and then change their forecast to 90 million, exactly like mine, is just hilarious to me. But yeah, Barbie's going to be around that figure. Oppenheimer will be around the 50 million mark. I think, depending on the Sunday, it might go a bit below around the 47 kind of area. We'll have to see. Let's not forget, there was another big movie that released, the $165 million movie, Haunted Mansion by Disney. That, I don't know why the budget's so high, and it's absurd, but it's, it opened to 10 million on the Friday. So it's going to get a good, 25 million for the weekend, which isn't bad for a movie that me and you really haven't heard of and literally have zero excitement for. At least I don't, because I don't care about it at all. I've seen one trailer. I don't know if you're excited for that one.
No,
not at all. Talk to me. That one's going to be a surprise one. It made about 4.2 million on the Friday. Its budget was 4.5 million. So this weekend it's going to break even and make a profit. And me and you both love that movie, especially as a horror movie. So that's good that it's going to get some success there. But yeah, I think the sad one is really Mission Impossible. Is it third weekend?
Yeah.
Yes, it's third weekend and it's at 6th for the Friday.
Oh my God, not even top.
Under 3 million for that day. So it will get around 10 to 11 million, which is, yeah. The movie's bombed. It's a flop. There's no way around it. We love it. Most people do love it, and that's fair enough. But you can't shy away from the fact that it is a flop. 290 million budget might make around 500 to 600 under the break-even mark. So losing millions for the studio. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Or I just have to credit Elemental. I'm always going to keep crediting Elemental until it drops out of the top 10 because it's looking like it's going to have a bigger week than Indiana Jones. And it released like 4 weeks before that. Or not 4 weeks, but like a good couple weeks. And the fact that it opened up under 30 million and it has 142 right now, and we'll have 145, 150 by the end of the weekend, is just going to be...
Considering the marketing for that film was trash.
It was so trash. And I think it's going to earn over or around 500 million. So what looked like a bomb and we were shitting on it so much has converted to something that's actually going to break even. It's probably going to be around that middle mark where they won't make much or anything significant, but man, the power of word of mouth. Yeah. What are you thinking about these numbers?
Yeah, I just find it funny how in Barbie's like second week and it's still going to make more than like Indiana Jones, Fast X, and The Flash.
The opening, yeah.
And even Oppenheimer, it's still around about that same figure as on its second weekend as well. So clearly the power of Barbenheimer is in full force and obviously people are loving it. And I think this is going to continue on for the next month at least.
Yeah.
Just these two films going at it and
yeah,
dominating that 1 and 2 spot. Mission Impossible is sad. And I think it's suffered because of Barbenheimer.
Yeah.
I think if it released earlier or a bit later, it would have been fine. I definitely think it should have been pushed up, given like more than like a week and a half before Oppenheimer, especially in IMAX as well.
Yes.
Surprised that Tom Cruise or Paramount didn't think of that.
Yeah.
I guess they didn't see any Barbenheimer memes, so.
yeah. I think that with the Barbenheimer thing, it really ramped up in like the last week, which was it's too late for a release date change at that point for Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
So yeah, they would have seen like the last month just being like all Barbenheimer and be like, damn, we shit the bed, yeah.
Oh well, take an L and there's no Barbenheimer next year for part 2, so you should be safe on that front.
There's Donker, that's coming.
There's Donker.
Dune and Wonka, let's make it happen. But this funny thing, I just want to add this before we move on. Sound of Freedom is going to make more than Mission Impossible in the domestic market.
Oh, that is like not real. You can't really take that on face value because of the whole like buying tickets and no one showing up sort of thing.
I've heard so much like controversies. I don't know what it's true, but I've seen like advertisements for like Barbie and Oppenheimer from like New Zealand cinema chains where we are, and all the comments are like, "Win Sound of Freedom, get Sound of Freedom here," and then the cinema chain will be like, "Hey, we're trying to work it out with the studio. They haven't announced anything yet," and then like people are like, "Why are you trying to stop this? It's not an excuse." It's just like so politically charged, but you know, there's clearly a demand for it outside of the US, and even my manager was posting something about it. I'm like, what is this movie? I'm very curious. I'm gonna go watch it and see what the fuss is about.
Imagine if it's just literally nothing.
Yeah, because it is just one of the most bizarre box office and movie stories of the year, in my opinion. Yeah, we're gonna see that together.
We'll see that maybe. All right. So the next segment was suggested by one of our listeners and one of my mates over in the UK. Yeah. We did our Christopher Nolan top 5, what we thought was the best last week. And he messaged us saying, "Oh, yo, can you do your top animated?" So I was like, sure.
Yep.
But we'll do favorites because doing best is just going to be so hard. We could be here forever. So favorites is a lot more easier. So our top 5 favorite animated films from me and James. Did you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
You can decide. You're the host. Take it away if you want.
You can go first.
You want me to go first? I'm glad this is favorite. Shout out to your friend that put the suggestion in. And I'm glad that it is the favorites. If you're asking me to do my top 5 best animated movies, I would need a lot of preparation time to do that because I interpreted Nayan's show notes as the best.
It literally said favorite.
And I was writing everything that could be on the top 5 like contention, and I wrote like 15 to 20 movies, and I'm like, there's no way I can order this, let alone put 5 movies in here. But when it's favorite, I'm pretty quite certain on how I feel about these movies. So we'll just go one at a time, starting from 5th to 1st.
Yep, sounds good.
Cool. 5th for me Shrek.
Start right there. Fifth for me is Shrek.
Actually, there's no list of animated movies where I can't include Shrek. I love this movie so much, and it's one of those movies where I find something new with it each time. There's so many layers of like comedy to it, really kind of funny, childish humor, and then really kind of dark
Adult humor.
Adult humor. The story's a blast. The characters are just hilarious together, and it's just so fun. That's all I can say. I watched it. I actually watched it pretty recently, about a month or two ago, and I was watching it, and I was just loving it. It was just so good and so nice. So yeah, it's just one of those movies that I've loved ever since it came out. I actually remember my first viewing of it, which I think I was like 5 or 6. I remember I was throwing a mad tantrum to my mum because I wanted to see Lord of the Rings. And I was like, no, I don't want to see that. She's like, no, you're too young. It's not good for you. And then I didn't even know what Shrek was. I hadn't seen a poster or anything. And then I went and saw it, and I just loved it. So yeah, Shrek. What about why Shrek for you at first?
Shrek is love, Shrek is life.
Okay, yeah.
No.
And the memes, yeah.
And the memes. You know, I don't think I've seen a movie as memed as Shrek. Maybe like the prequel trilogy for Star Wars.
That's yeah.
I think those are the top 2 movies that constantly get memes and has memes coming out of it. But the soundtrack, and you've pretty much covered everything already, but the soundtrack in Shrek is like an all-time classic. You know, like Smash Mouth and whatnot. Like watching that as a younger kid, you're just like, yo, this is hype. Like just the first time you see Shrek is just him kicking open a door to the toilet. Oh, it's just
all like, everything vibes together so like well in that movie.
It does, and like all the voice performances were fantastic. Even like the side characters like Gingy and people like that, which all just nailed their roles.
Yeah. Eddie Murphy as Donkey is just perfection. One of the best
100%.
casting decisions in an animated film.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Right. Your number 4?
Number 4, Soul. This movie hit me to like my core, honestly, and I've loved the movie ever since. I didn't really know much about it coming into watching that movie for the first time, but that movie is not really aimed for kids in terms of its message and its deeper themes. Soul hits me because it came in the point in time in my life where I was kind of questioning where I'm going, what I want out of life, and then because I think I just started. I was in my first year of working a full-time position, and working full-time, a lot of my thinking is like, is this my life now? Am I 9 to 5, Monday to Friday until I'm 65 and above, and then I just retire? Like, and I was having some really like, not dark thoughts, but not good thoughts either about that. And then this movie comes out, and it teaches us that, you know, there's so much more to life than just those kind of things, and following your dreams and the little things, the connections you have with other people. That's really what makes life. So this movie came at the right time for me, and yeah, I've loved it ever since. And whenever I'm having an existential crisis, I'm going to put on that movie. But it's not in the animation. There's a shot of New York City in that movie.
Oh, is it the opening scene?
Nah, it's in the middle. It's like this montage with like the emotional music, and the score is one of the best animated, by the way. And it's just like a like bird's eye view of New York City, and I'm like, is this a shot or is this animated? It blew my mind. But yeah, what's your number 4?
My number 4. See, I don't have a real like a deep connection to my whole list as you did with Soul. It's all just like childhood stuff. My number 4 is Madagascar.
Oh no!
The first one, bro. It's a classic, and
it's great. Yeah,
they made that suggestion that we'll completely understand because we were like Madagascar fanatics when it first came out. I think it's just, I don't know why. Like, yeah, it's a pretty average movie, but I think just then watching it as a kid, it was just hilarious. Just seeing like these 4 animals just like tear each other to pieces because they got kicked out of a zoo and whatnot, and then like seeing Alex the lion just like tap into his carnivorous sort of nature as an animal. It's just, yeah, I don't know why. It's just one of those childhood things that we just kept watching, and then like obviously when Madagascar 2 and 3 came out, we all went to the cinemas to watch it as well. And I think it's King Julian that really got us into it. I think we all just really enjoyed him. I mean, yeah, that song "I Like to Move" was a bit annoying now as an adult, but as a child, like
it was a beat back in the day. But yeah, Madagascar is endlessly rewatchable. I do love Madagascar. It's just not to that tier for me.
Number 4.
But we need more movies like Madagascar,
like just mindless fun.
Animated movies, like not. I don't know which one to immediately compare it to, but something like just good, like decently quality, really fun kind of animated movies. I feel like either animated movies these days are really bad or really good. The in between is a lot more rare these days, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
Like Lightyear. Let's do top 5 most hated movies.
Oh, we hated movies or animated?
Animated movies.
Could be here for a while.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Shout out to the mouse that's in here. Ratatouille is my number 3.
You only included that because you're afraid that it was going to come out of the cupboard and be like, "Oi!"
Okay, that's part of my reasoning, but no, honestly, I love Ratatouille. It's not one that I always watch a lot. I think I watched it on the plane in our Europe trip. It's a great plane movie, trust me. But I think Ratatouille is one of the most underrated Pixar movies at the moment. If anyone hasn't, they have such a good, gallery of films that I completely get it. But yeah, Ratatouille to me, I love this movie so much. It just explores creativity and human passion, and through rats and cooking, it's taking very human elements, a part of the human condition, and putting it into such a bizarre concept that could only be thought of by mixing kind of drugs together and visualizing it and hallucinating. Because how do you get to a film creation about rats wanting to cook? Like I don't know.
I don't know. Pixar, man, they're different beasts.
And then imagine pitching the Ratatouille movie, like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a rat who wants to cook, and obviously he can't cook in a restaurant in Paris, so he is going to stand on some guy's head and control him with his hair. Like the concept's insane, but what they pull from it and the emotionality from it is on like a deeper level. So mixing such a bizarre concept and making it genuinely fun and all that kind of stuff, it's why it's one of my favorites. And I think as someone who's I perceive myself as quite a creative person in the way that I think. So the movie exploring that is part of why I love it, I guess. Yeah. What about you?
We need Pixar to do more like creative stuff like that.
Yes.
Out of the box sort of stuff.
Yeah. Rather than
sequels.
Figo and Waterboy. That's a good movie, but yeah. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Pixar as well, Monsters Inc.
No,
Monsters Inc.'s good.
It is good, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is one that me and my sister always used to watch as well. It's like, but this entire list of mine is all just childhood based. I don't think there's a recent movie from like the past decade that's on this list for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just, I really loved Monsters Inc. I think it was just because, I don't know, just seeing the monsters in like an animated form in a non-scary sort of way. Like, yeah, they'd go do scares and stuff, but it was just more humanizing the monsters and getting stuff from their perspective.
Yeah.
I think that's what really made it great. And then obviously adding the element of Boo in there as well, with an actual human, and seeing these monsters like just as scared off a kid as kids are of monsters.
Yeah.
So it's like real like, oh shit.
Yeah.
We've got our wires crossed and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I think the comedy in the film is really excellent as well.
Great, yeah.
Mike Wazowski is clear head and shoulders carrying that whole film. So yeah, it was just Monsters Inc. for me.
Yeah. Have you watched it recently, like in the last 5 years?
No, I haven't.
No. I think I watched it a few years ago after me and Kavin had a big debate about it. There's a lot of like corporate like overlord kind of themes in it as well. And it kind of, as you grow up, you kind of learn about that stuff about corporate greed and all that. It's flushed in that movie very potently, and there's just so much more of a deeper like theme to it. It's the same experience with The Incredibles. There's so many layers to the storytelling, man. And as you get older, you kind of learn about that, and that's the ingenious of Pixar. That's disappeared in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like appealing to both adult and kids.
But now it just seems to be IP driven and
Yeah.
kid friendly.
Yeah.
Too friendly. Yeah.
Fucking Pixar. What's your number second? Number 2.
Oh, Shrek 2. I love Shrek 2. I think it's probably one of the funniest animated movies out there. Again, the soundtrack is great. The story, in my opinion, is just as great. Shrek really went on a decline after this movie, but I genuinely believe that Shrek 2 is better than Shrek 1. I like it a lot more. I remember seeing it opening night. It does everything that the first one did better, and then it adds like interesting characters like Puss in Boots, and then the fairy godmother and putting magic into it and all that stuff. It's just brilliant. I was obsessed with the movie when I was younger. So
diving more into that sort of fairy tale sort of aspect.
Yeah, definitely. So it's just a blast. And I remember I had a late shift at work once, and I came home. I bought like a bottle of wine, and because my room and how my TV is, so I stacked all my pillows like halfway in the bed, so I was like really close to my screen, and I had a bottle of wine, and I was like drinking wine while watching Shrek 2, and it was honestly one of my favorite watches of watching a movie in that room ever, because I was just dying of laughter.
I hope it's not out on 4K. Eh? I know Shrek 1 is.
Yeah. I have Shrek 1, but yeah, I was just watching that. So yeah, it's too good. It's so funny. Yeah, well, what's your number 2?
Shrek 2 is good. Not Shrek 2. My number 2 is The Incredibles.
Oh yeah, I thought that has to be in there somewhere.
Has to be in there. It's the superheroes. It's from Pixar as well, and just another childhood movie of mine. It's just I think when I first watched it, I was blown away because from the stuff I saw, it's always been like live action sort of superheroes, and then the animated versions that I've seen is mainly like the Batman animated series type of films, which is great. They are great. Surprised one of them's not on here, but that's a topic for another day with myself. But yeah, I think with The Incredibles, the reason why I loved it so much is because it's based on something I've never seen before. Like I said before, the stuff I've watched was like the Batman and stuff sort
like
of
new superheroes. Is that what you're saying?
New like original superheroes, and that's what they did here. And then like each like family member had a different power, and then like having like the world react to superheroes where they don't want them in that world as well, which is really bizarre because if superheroes were around, everyone would want them around to fight crime and blah blah blah. The spiel. Yeah. But like in this film, they're like they had to be like super secretive and stuff like that. And I think just the way that the main bad guy syndrome ties to Mr. Incredible from his younger years. It's just a perfect way to like have a villain as well, and and the humor in this is also great. I think this is like the peak Pixar, like that sort of early 2000s period in terms of like humor, as well. Because like you got Dash with his like quippy little one-liners that aren't that cheesy and whatnot, and then you have the relationship sort of humor between Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl as well.
Yeah, The Incredibles came out in an incredible time with don't laugh at that. That was not intentional. Just with Pixar, I think like you had like Toy Story 2, Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, all back to back to back. And Ratatouille was in there, Cars is in there. Not as great, of course, not the same heights as the others, but still a solid movie. That kind of 2000 to 2010 for Pixar is just too good. God tier. God tier. Literally. For my favorite animated movie, I think we might have the same.
You reckon?
Unless
you know exactly what mine would be, because it's in my top 5 of all time.
Perhaps, but my number 1 is Toy Story 3.
Okay,
no, you don't even have Toy Story 3 on your list. Damn. Top 5 of all time. Oh, I'm just thinking of yours. All right. Anyway, my favorite animated movie ever, Toy Story 3. This movie is probably, I would say, definitively top 3 best animated movies ever. For me, it's my favorite one, of course. It's because it caps off and I guess I can't really say it caps off now. Maybe Toy Story 4 does dilute the impact of this movie now, but at the time, I knew this was something special because, we had 2 movies prior to this of building up all these characters and understanding the relationship and the world which they operate inside. And then Toy Story 3 it comes out like 10 years later, and it kind of sticks with that timeline. And it shows Andy being older and, not being interested in toys. And I kind of grew up within Andy's timeline, if that makes sense. Like when he was a kid, that's when he was a kid in Toy Story 1 and 2, I was a kid. And then by the time Toy Story 3 came out, I was around, like 14, 15, not playing with toys anymore. So you kind of just saw that relationship and that you had that relatability to it. I think going to the kindergarten and having like them be evil and like trapping them and stuff like that, and then the heist to break out of it. It's such a fun thing. And then that last scene is just like emotional. It hits to the core. It's pure bittersweet.
Perfect ending for a franchise.
It is literally the perfect ending. The so long partner as he drives off into the sunset, and then Buzz just patting Woody on the back or on the shoulder. Yeah, it's just incredible stuff. Honestly, wish that it had kept it off in a way, even though Toy Story 4 was good. But oh man, I love that movie so much. Very curious about your number one though. What have you got?
I don't think I'm going to be surprised. It's Aladdin, as in the animated Aladdin.
Oh. Right. I'm very curious. Oh, you didn't have Lion King either.
Huh, because it's favorites.
Yeah, I know that, yeah. But I know you love all of these movies, so yeah.
But
top 5 is hard.
Aladdin is definitely up there. That's probably, I think it's one of the first movies I've ever seen. Can't remember because I don't know, 30. My mind doesn't go back that far, but this is the one that definitely sticks out the most. Like I remember like my mum and my sister and my dad having to like hide the VHS off it because I just kept watching and watching it.
Really?
Yeah, I was so obsessed with Aladdin. Like there was a time where we had to dress up for primary school.
Yeah,
I went as Aladdin.
Yeah, that time.
Obviously, I wore a shirt. I couldn't wear that vest and be half naked.
Yeah,
I'll probably get in detention. But yeah, I loved Aladdin so much. It was like it's one of the key films that I can relate to with my childhood. I think I just love it so much. Like Robin Williams as Genie, like you touched upon before, how Donkey is one of the greatest animated casting voices. Genie and Robin Williams is definitely up there as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I think for a musical as well because I'm not very big on musicals, and a musical is one of my number ones.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
But yeah, I think the songs in there, they were really catchy. It was like that peak Disney sort of time where like the songs are really good and not quite forced, and the story was great. Back then, the animation or the hand drawing was great as well. It's got great comedy, with Robin Williams' Genie in there as well. Like it was never a dull moment. And then you also have Jafar, who was such a cunt, but he was a great villain as well. This is why I loved it so much. And yeah, I think it's probably because it's one of the first movies I recall seeing. That's probably why it's one of my favorites.
Yeah. But quick question about that, because you can't really ask me about mine because they're not going to do Toy Story 3 in live action. But the Aladdin live action, considering it's your favorite animated movie, how do you feel about the live action in terms of translating that movie into that format?
As in when I got first announced and when I watched it.
When you watched it, what did you think of it?
I thought it was better than most of the live action ones. Like obviously it's not as good. And it did try and change some things, which was weird. But it's one of those ones where it's just like it can never none of these live actions can ever reach the originals. So I think it's probably one of the ones that I'll be happy to rewatch. If I had to rewatch one, like gun to my head, I'll probably pick Aladdin. Yeah, just because I think it's one of the better ones. That or Jungle Book.
Well, Jungle Book. Oh, I love Jungle Book. That's a good one. Yeah.
See, Will Smith in the trailers looked so shit, but in the movie he was actually pretty decent. Like he could never live up to the hypes of Robin Williams, but like he still did a pretty okay job.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I can do that.
All right, so that is our top 5 favorite animated films.
Yeah.
If you have any other suggestions, whether you're my mate or anyone else listening, give us a message and we'll see what we can do. All right, now on to a more serious, somewhat note. I don't know if this is confirmed. It's just news that I've been seeing all week. You might see something different, but it's Disney no longer releasing physical media in Australia or New Zealand. So pretty much Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, that's going to be the last release down here for us. And then after that, nothing else is coming. Everything else that's on their shelves will stay on their shelves, but they'll never be restocked again, which is quite a shame. I know JB AU is doing a sale right now, and I went this morning and bought a whole bunch of stuff, and now I'm thinking, I was like, because I didn't realize the restock thing. And now I was like, maybe I should just jump in and quickly get all the Pixar ones that I've just been like, put on the back burner. And be like, I'll get it when I get it. But the fact that they're not going to restock, I might miss out on, I don't know, a movie, so I think I might go home and do a cleanup.
Fair enough.
But if this news is proved to be true, what are your thoughts on this decision? Because I think the main decision for this is that Disney wants everyone to go to Disney Plus for their streaming.
Yeah. Scary is how I would view it. I have quite a bit of thoughts on this. The fact that it's scary to me is because it's Australia and New Zealand getting this treatment first, from what I know. And
even Netflix gave us the shit end of the stick with the whole password sharing.
Yeah, they did it first in New Zealand for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, for Disney to take away their films on Blu-ray and 4K and any physical media for that matter, that's scary because I know perhaps not New Zealand is a major one, but Australia is a major market in terms of, just filming, consumerism in general. It's probably in top 5 when it comes to physical media. That's just a guess off the top of my head. I would know it would be in the top 10 for sure because Australia's massive and has a very large population.
Yeah.
So for them to just do this for such a major market is scary. Hopefully they're just trialing it and see if they, lose a substantial amount of money, if they gain more subs than Disney Plus now that they've come off, and hopefully it's just a trial and it can come back. But yeah, honestly, this is not a good sign for the future of physical media. In general, not just in Australia and New Zealand. It's the fact that they're going to start, or it seems like they're going to start coming out of different countries one by one. And is this just Disney, or is this the start of each studio pulling back from physical media? I don't know. This could be the real starting point of the end of physical media. At least in terms of Disney stuff, we can still order and get stuff from overseas and shipped here. Now it's just going to cost extra money, which is a shame. We don't really buy from New Zealand retailers in general because the prices are absurd compared to Australia.
That's why I said JBAU.
Yeah. Because everything comes to Australia and then it comes to New Zealand. So we're paying that extra import tax on it, I guess. And, if you're in Australia now, you're going to be paying a little bit more money because you're going to have no local sellers and they're selling it at their prices. So it makes two big markets just completely out of the game. What this means, I don't know. Disney would always be the one to go for this first. You just know that, yeah. Whether Amazon can still be it, because Amazon's in Australia, it's not New Zealand. If Amazon can still be a force for physical media, then it's not too bad. They're not obviously not going to have these great prices and stuff, but
Amazon Australia wouldn't have it if they're pulling from Australia and New Zealand, right?
But then Amazon could pull from their other Amazon places.
Thank God that was empty.
Yeah, so Amazon could pull from other Amazon distributors themselves. It just wouldn't be Disney doing it in their way. That's the way I view it right now. We got to wait for more details. I don't know if it is true, but I've heard so much discussion around it, and they've confirmed with different retailers and all that kind of stuff. So all signs point towards it being true. But yeah, tough day for us. And I might do what you did and jump on JB and try to get some last minute Disney stuff.
Yeah, because stuff like, I don't know, gonna say Cars because it's the first thing that can come into my mind. Like,
Why Cars?
I don't know.
What about your favorite movie ever?
What?
Aladdin.
I already have that.
Incredibles.
I already have that.
Madagascar.
I don't think that's on 4K.
Yeah, I don't think it is that.
And that's DreamWorks, idiot. But yeah. What was I saying? I don't know. No, I just started my point, eh?
Yes, you
Yes.
did. Just take your point.
Yeah. Yeah, it is sad. Like when I first saw that, I was like, no, it's a joke. And then like I kept looking at Twitter and I've just seen all this thing. And it's not just that one day, it's just been like constant news all week. And
Yeah.
it's got me scared. Like that's why I'm doing like this rush buy because I don't want to
Yeah.
miss out on these things, whether,
Mhm.
you know, just in case, you know, it's just to complete the collection.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. And it's really annoying, like how it's always just us in Australia that get the short end of the stick. It's
Yeah.
so frustrating.
Literally.
So frustrating. I'm sort of thinking that if they want to focus on Disney Plus subscriptions, I wonder if the reason why they're doing this is because Australia and New Zealand is their lowest has the lowest subscribers in terms of regions.
Oh, really?
I'm not saying. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. I
Oh,
wonder.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a fact. What I'm saying, it's not a fact. It's just me speculating.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking is that we might
Mm.
have like lower subscribers in any other region. So that's why they're going to pull their physical media so they can get those subscribers to their content.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because before this news came out, I saw on Twitter like how everyone's praising physical media and how it's coming back, and now Disney
Yeah.
is it's a massive studio as well to be doing this,
Yeah.
and obviously other studios will take notice, especially if it works.
Mm.
So in time, if it works, then we can see Warner Brothers do the same, where they
Yeah.
have everything go to Max, and then you know Paramount. I don't
Mhm.
know where DreamWorks fall under, but them
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, it's real scary and fucking shit how it's always us.
I know. It's gonna be rough, and I do wonder what the accessibility of these movies is going to be like for us. How hard it's going to be to get them to our mailbox in a sense.
Yeah.
Like because obviously we can go and buy it, drive up the road and go and get it, or we can order from Australia, which is pretty easy to do. But now, how hard it's going to be is going to be a different kind of question. Yeah.
And I think the thing is that this isn't like, oh, they're going to pull it out in like 2 or 3 months' time. It's like next week, pretty much.
Yeah,
is when it starts.
Guardians, and then it's done. Nothing else after Guardians.
Nothing else after Guardians.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know if Fox is also included in the Disney bracket as well.
Yeah.
So we could see stuff like Avatar 3. We might not get that. We had to go to States to get that, or order from the States to get those sort of stuff now. But
fly over to the States and get it.
might be cheaper.
Oh.
All right, on to some Barbie news, eh? So Mattel have come out and said that they are open to more Barbie sequels. They want to create a ton of Barbie sequels, to be perfectly honest. They've said it's a very rich universe. It's a very broad and very elastic brand in terms of opportunities. And I didn't even know this, but there's a whole bunch of live action stuff already planned. I'll just name some. You got a this is all live action, by the way. Uno, Barney, as in the dinosaur, Polly Pocket, Thomas the Tank Engine, Hot Wheels as well. And there's like a whole list of 20 here, but those are like the big name ones. So Mattel is looking to create their own MCU. So what are your thoughts on the new MCU, mate?
Gosh, I don't know. As the new MCU, because of Mattel Cinematic Universe. Yeah. No, as I don't mind new live action things coming from Mattel. Barbie is obviously a success, and we've seen how you can adapt a toy and make it quite a compelling story and make it look visually appealing, all that stuff. I think Barbie did a very good job, despite kind of the divided response to that movie. It shows us that you can adapt, just toys into an entire story and make it compelling, make it mean something, and make it look nice. So I don't mind that at all. And in terms of the cinematic universe kind of aspect to it, that's are they connected? Is there going to be like a villain that is there going to be like a team up? Like I don't.
Could you imagine a team up like Barbie and Barney just there, and then like Thomas the Tank Engine comes in, and just like epic music, and they all just fight like this? I don't know,
toy.
Evil. I don't know what a bad toy
Uno.
is.
They fight Uno.
They fight Uno.
Pulls out the reverse card.
And it pulls out the +4.
So yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work. I'm actually kind of excited because I don't know what these look like in terms of the live action. How does Barney work?
I have seen some news on Barney. I hope I pronounced his name right. I'm pretty sure it's Daniel Kaluuya.
Kaluuya. Yeah.
Yep. I don't know if he's actually Barney himself, but he's attached to it. But it's not, from what I've heard, it's like more of an adult sort of film. It's not the Barbie the Barney we know. It's like more adult themes and more like grounded stuff, which is very un-Barney like.
Yeah, I'm reading it now. The iconic purple dinosaur will inspire a live-action film that Mattel has described as an A24 type surrealistic movie. And they don't know if it's going to be darker, but it's going to be more unique. So it's not going to be a straightforward Barney purple dinosaur, hey kids, kind of thing. It's going to be
a hyper-realistic dinosaur.
It's going to be a hyper-realistic dinosaur. Oh, it might be, but the song, the I love you, you love me.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is going to be.
They'll probably just get some Nicki Minaj and Ice Spice on it again.
Some
do a remix of it.
Talking about animal rights or something. They're going to talk about very real stuff in Barney, so I'm intrigued, and I want to see something like that. If they have to divert to these IP driven stuff, then I think stuff like Barbie is the way to go. However you feel about that movie and what that movie is saying, it's better than just having a thing about a doll and running around in Barbie land and all that kind of stuff. It switches things up. But then you got like stuff like Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels. J.J. Abrams is part of it. How does Hot Wheels work? There's no human characters there.
It's just cars.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just going to be a movie with the cars.
It's just going to be cars.
Yeah, just cars. Magic 8 Ball.
How does that even work?
You could do Magic 8 Ball in a horror setting.
You could, you could.
Whatever the 8 Ball says is what happens. Oh, I would like that actually.
It's they're smart enough to do that.
Uno. I don't know how Uno. There's actually so much has been announced. Thomas and Friends.
That's hype.
That's not hype at all.
Bro, hearing the iconic Thomas the Tank Engine theme song in like IMAX is going to be hype.
Oh, yeah. But no, I'm not going to be pessimistic towards this one. I'm actually going to be excited because their first one was Barbie. And look at the success it's had. And it's going to show Mattel and whatever studio's working on this, probably Warner Brothers, that, look, let's make it interesting. Let's make it look cool.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's going to get people in the seats. If they did some generic Barbie movie, I guarantee it would not be as big as it is now.
No.
So, yeah, I'm excited. I think Barbie sets the stage for success. I think your first movie in your cinematic universe has to be really, really good. Man of Steel was average. Look at the DCU.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Man was great. Look how the MCU turned out to Endgame. So, yeah. So I think the stage is set for a very successful cinematic universe here with some properties that could actually be interesting. And I think they're going to take the interesting angle rather than take the angle that's generic. And yeah. So what do you think?
I hope that's through the take on this as well.
Yeah.
Is rather than just pumping out, like kiddies sort of shit. It's just actual like real meaning themes like Barney, like we all know that that's like super kid friendly, but if they want to make it darker, more realistic for us because our generation that watched Barney has now grown up.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they're going to go that route because we would be able to relate to it more than if you pop a kid out right now and have them watch it because they wouldn't really know. I don't even know if Barney's still around, like proper Barney. I know that there's probably some shit version of Barney, but that ain't Barney. But yeah, so I think that what they're trying to do is relate it to the generation that grew up with those properties like Barbie.
Yeah.
Our generation, the generation before us, before that as well, all grew up with Barbie like quite intensely, and the people that made the Barbie film also played it with Barbie. So that hopefully that's what happens here. The way, I don't know how they can do. I do like that 8 ball idea. the Magic 8 Ball.
Is a horror?
Horror setting.
Yeah.
But some of this stuff, I'm just interested to see what route they'll do. Like Uno, like how can you make that adult theme sort of, like if you see a movie about Uno, you just expect it to be about kids playing Uno and I don't know, like times 4, and then I don't know, there's 4 of them now.
Oh,
4 kids. Who knows? But I think for some of the properties that's on this list, I think will really work well if they take the Barbie route, have core underlying themes and bright, vibrant sort of production. But then I think some of these other ones, I think you have no choice but to sell out into that sort of kid sort of things.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. I mean, a lot of this stuff is already pre-planned by the looks of it. Rock'em Sock'em Robots. I don't even know what that is, by the way. But Vin Diesel's already signed on to lead it. And so they're working on that now. Watch Major Matt Manson. Tom Hanks stars in that. It's a Mattel astronaut action figure who lives and works on the moon.
Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's something that they could really get into.
So there's some good ideas here, and it seems like this is planned. It's all planned in advance. There's so many projects here. They already have people signed on and what they want out of it. So it's not like the DCU where they're just kind of making up on the spot. There seems to be a real plan, and they got some interesting ideas, and I'm excited to see them, honestly.
Seems like as if this is like what Marvel did for Phase 1, 2, and 3, planned out that whole arc. This is what Mattel's sort of doing.
Phase 1 for Mattel Cinematic Universe.
That's hype.
Barney 2. Barney better be the Iron Man.
No, it's Barney and Friends. No, Barbie's Iron Man.
Barney is Captain America then.
Yeah. Either way, everyone will still go watch it because it's Barney.
You could do like a Barneyheimer with Oppenheimer too.
Moving on. Fucking hell. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. The reviews and reactions are out. I think last time I checked, I haven't checked today, it's around about that high 90s sort of % on Rotten Tomatoes. And the reactions for it have been extremely positive. People have been saying that it's really family friendly. It's intricate and layered. It has an intricate and layered emotional story. It's a surprise hit of the year, and it's a masterpiece in terms of its audio and visuals as well. I know you're not that excited for it, but I have been because I've constantly been comparing this to like Puss in Boots in terms of how much of a surprise hit it's going to be, and it seems like as if I'm right in that aspect of how unexpectedly good this is going to be. And after seeing all these reactions and the reviews come out, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. But after seeing any of this, does your opinion change a little, or is it just still the same?
It's still kind of the same. In comparison to Puss in Boots, I think it's unfair because we went into that movie not really wanting to be at that screening that day. We kind of got up for the early Sunday one, and we didn't know what we were in for. And then we watched a great movie, and I was like, what? It does not deserve to be this good. We know this movie's going to be good. And I always saw the trailers. I saw the trailers, and I'm like, oh, this is good. There's some creativity in how it's, portraying these characters and how it's being animated and design aspect and all that stuff. I think it's creative. So it looked good from the get-go. As for why I'm not excited is because one, I'm kind of sick of the copycat Spider-Verse stuff now. It's already becoming quite a draw from it. So I don't really take it as much of whoa, look at this animation. It's so interesting. No, we have one animated movie a year that has this now. It's not that that new anymore.
Yeah.
And so it might go back to its comic book roots. So if it does that and takes more of a page off Spider-Verse and say what Puss in Boots did, and puts the little effects and stuff around it, then that can be quite fun. I do think it's going to be a fun movie. I don't know how much I'm going to enjoy it. I've never liked or enjoyed the TMNT franchise in any way, shape, or form. So it's why I'm not excited for it. I've never not thought that it will be a good or great movie. So that my excitement is based purely on the fact that I don't care a single bit about the franchise at all. And honestly, if I am going to go to this length, I think it's an extremely dumb concept.
What?
Turtles that fight and are trained in ninjutsu and they fight a rat.
It's just the same as a rat wanting to cook.
Do not compare Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to Ratatouille.
I just did.
No, or if they can pull off what Ratatouille does, and I'm not denying they can't. Ratatouille's got a dumb concept, but the execution is amazing. If the execution is amazing for TMNT, then it can swing me as a franchise player, if you
Franchise
will.
player.
Yeah, I'll be on board for more TMNT stuff. But yeah, Paramount's extremely confident in this. They've already announced a sequel and a TV series as well. Yeah, what's your history with TMNT? Have you been a fan of it?
Yeah, I've read a few of its comics and I've played a lot of its games, the OG games, and the recent one that came out a couple of years ago that was like 8-bit, sort of. Shut up. So yeah, I've obviously seen it. I didn't like the live action ones. I thought they were pretty average and shit. Yeah. But yeah, I think Ninja Turtles should just be kept to a animated sort of basis because I don't think it's a property that can quite work well in live action.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that this is doing so well has me excited. I know I mean with you a lot that how I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be the next Puss in Boots. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
And it's just a shame because I'm not going to be. I'm going to be down in Tauranga and we'll eventually see it.
Yeah, when does it come out for us? Because it comes out on Tuesday for our American friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know when it comes out for us, but
I'm pretty sure I'm away.
I'll come down for the weekend, and then that weekend, 7th of September for us.
Oh, okay. So it comes out when I'm back.
Yeah, it comes out a month after America.
Oh no, I'm still not back. I'm still down there.
Yeah, you're still down there.
Yeah.
I'll come over for that weekend, bro.
Yes.
Yeah. Get some in-season tickets.
Yes. I'm hyped. But yeah, I think it looks good. The fact that they're saying that it's just more than like a typical kids movie, how there's like layers and it's quite emotional. It just goes to show that they're trying to use adult things and
that's what you want.
Generation that grew up with the Ninja Turtles and trying to appeal to that audience rather than just the generation now. So yeah. Hopefully it works out and hopefully it's as good. And Puss in Boots is the bar. Let's see if it reaches it. All right, next topic is earlier this week, Sony has come out with a whole list of release dates and delays as well. Majority of these delays is unfortunately due to the SAG-AFTRA strikes. So I'll just spit out a few major ones. So Madam Web comes out on Feb 14th next year. The Ghostbusters sequel was originally supposed to come out December this year. Now it's March 29th next year. Bad Boys 4 is coming out on June 14th next year. Venom 3 has a release date. It's July 12th next year. Kraven the Hunter was supposed to come out in, I think, October or November this year. Yeah. It's now been delayed to August 30th next year. It's a big delay. Karate Kid, that's been announced that's a Karate Kid reboot, not Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith's one. It's December 13th, 2024. And the one that we all saw coming was Beyond the Spider-Verse, and that has been delayed too. No one knows because they haven't released a date for it yet. So that one, I think that one stings the most because like everything else has a date, but this is just definitely it could be next year, could be the year after, or the year after, or year after. So who knows? I think it goes to show that they didn't do that much work on this.
Yeah.
Which is why they have an indefinite date. But what are your thoughts on these delays?
The Spider-Verse one, I think we all saw it coming, regardless of our disappointment. With the Beyond the Spider-Verse, something that does give me hope is that I saw the reasoning for it was about that the actors couldn't come in and do voice work due to the SAG-AFTRA strike. And it makes me wonder if that's all they got left is just voice recording. And if so, once these things are wrapped up, then actors can get in there and go and do the voice recording for it. And it could still hit the 2024 year. I don't think it will. And that's just something I picked up from that reasoning that gives me a little bit of hope that it's just, that kind of stuff. And obviously some finishing touches on the animation, but at least hopefully the bulk of it's done. This is really not a movie that you want to delay very long at all. You want this to come out as soon as possible
to capitalize on the hype.
Exactly, yeah. Because after a year or so, it's really gonna dissipate in terms of the amount of interest that is with it, because it has a lot right now. It has a lot of momentum. So yeah, they need to do that as soon as possible without obviously jeopardizing the quality of the film.
Yeah.
I don't care about Madam Web. I don't care about Ghostbusters, Bad Boys 4, Karate Kid. Don't care about that one either, but that one could be interesting. The Kraven the Hunter, they nearly dropped back a whole year.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know why, because
it's mostly finished, right? Oh, well, it had to be if it's due to release in like a couple months' time.
Yeah, I don't know what I think they're just going to keep it in a vault for a certain amount of time. That might be the wise move to do it now that I'm thinking about it, because you need to market this movie because it doesn't look good. It doesn't look like it can attract an audience. So you need to find a way to market it in a very interesting way and get people into the seats. You can't do that without having your stars there. So I get that move. Because I think Aaron Taylor Johnson's one of the driving forces to people wanting to see this. So yeah. And Venom 3 got its release date. People were thinking that it was going to be Spider-Man 4. It never was. Venom 3 was always the one that was going to be coming. But yeah, Spider-Man 4 the script's not even done yet, so it's going to be a while away. But Venom 3, I don't know what they're doing with it now. Like, because we had the end of Venom 2, which showed him going into the MCU, and then the end of Spider-Man, he goes back to the Sony verse, right?
Yeah, and then I think a bit of the symbiote stays behind.
Yeah, and if it's just Venom 3, I don't really care about it that much. We've already had the Tom Hardy experience of him playing Venom, and it was really fun to see an actor of his caliber take on such a weird character. Yeah. So that part's gone, and we saw the Carnage one. I hope it's just like not another Venom movie, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, they really should have tied it to Spider-Man for the third one, because you can't really have Venom without a direct opposite. Because Venom's not a good guy; he's a bad guy. He's a villain. And
he's an anti-hero.
Yeah, but he's mainly a villain.
He's on the Guardians of the Galaxy in the comics. He's a part of the team, and they're good.
Sure, they're full of misfits. That group.
Pardon? Yeah. I hope he's on the MCU Guardians next.
That would actually be pretty hype, as in the new Guardians.
Yeah,
that'd actually be pretty hype.
That'd be cool. Yeah. But yeah, what do you think about these release dates?
I'm with you on the fact that I don't care about all of them except for Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Poor Sony, eh?
Yeah. It's just, Madam Web, we already know that's going to be like Morbius 2.0. We haven't seen anything. We haven't heard anything. There's no
Craven.
No footage. Craven as well. That's going to be shit. That's going to be Morbius 2.0. Hell, it could be New Mutant territory if they keep delaying it.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone cares about Bad Boys 4 ever since the slap. Karate Kid, who cares? We've already had 3 good ones. Just leave it alone. Ghostbusters, it's a dying franchise. So, yeah. Venom 3, we pretty much discussed it before. It'll be interesting to see what narrative they go through for this one. Who knows? That might relate to Spider-Man. It could be about the symbiote in the MCU.
Yeah.
Could be loosely one. Who knows? But yeah, Beyond the Spider-Verse is I think it's the big main talking point about this one. And you're completely right how they want to release the film ASAP. Because could you imagine if Infinity War came out and then Endgame got delayed indefinitely? Everyone's hype, especially the way that film ended on that cliffhanger.
Yeah,
everyone will be so annoyed and antsy, and I feel majority of the public will be out there with the strikers.
Yeah, 100%.
Trying to bring out this movie ASAP and pay these guys what they're worth. But yeah, if you leave it for a couple years, then everyone's going to be like, what happened in Across the Spider-Verse again?
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So you sort of do need to capitalize within that 12 to 18 month window.
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely. Yeah. You forgot the other Sony delay though. Gran Turismo.
Oh, yes, I did.
Got delayed 2 weeks.
2 weeks. That means it's 2 weeks off Oppenheimer. We get in.
Yes.
I think that that's a smart delay.
Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see their comment about why they delayed that movie by 2 weeks? It was like, oh, we can't have our stars promote this movie, but we can have the audience promote our movie.
Yeah, from Sony, and then everyone's just shitting on them and be like, no, you can just pay your writers and actors a fair wage.
Yeah. So
I think the best way for audiences to promote the movie is not to go see it. I think if everyone could get on board with that and not see this film, as it's just pretty shit for Gran Turismo, as in like the actors that did act in it, like no one going to see their film, but like you're making a statement to make things better. So sorry, Gran Turismo, you're the scapegoat in making Hollywood better.
Poor Gran Turismo. It's got so much pressure on its shoulders now.
But yeah, that's another can of worms for another time, I think. Sony's comments.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of these SAG-AFTRA strikes, we're now getting high caliber celebrities starting to get behind it as well. Jason Momoa, he donated a lot of water. Don't laugh. He donated water to the frontline strikers, Yeah. Yeah. And then the main one is The Rock. He made a 7-figure donation to the SAG-AFTRA Foundation's emergency relief fund. There's the exact figure's not known, but it's in the area of $1 million and upwards, which is sort of good, because I mean, there's been threats from the studio saying that they can strike until they lose their homes, but like this $1 million donation helps them with like the real back end stuff like water and what am I trying to say? I don't know, sources and stuff like that. I don't know, like obviously it's not for, I don't know what the word is. I know what I'm thinking.
Like sauce?
No, just like materials, like back end sort of stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean.
What's your thoughts? Never mind.
Aquaman coming in with water. I thought that was just funny, just because he is Aquaman. But no, obviously a nice thing to do. I know that the temperatures in LA right now are above like 35 degrees. I don't know the Fahrenheit conversion. Sorry, Americans. But yeah, it's around the 35 mark, which is very hot. New Zealand doesn't get to 30 very often at all, if ever in a year. So water is obviously essential to stay hydrated since they're out there all day protesting. So completely get that. And good on him for doing that. It's good to see when actors aren't on the front line in front of the studio lots that they are finding other ways to contribute. And obviously The Rock's a big part of that. I think Rock gets a lot of Dwayne Johnson, he gets a lot of misguided insults towards him because he plays the same character in every movie and stuff like that. But he is a genuine guy. And I think he is, I think he's a kind person and, an open guy and stuff like that. So to see that kind of donation, that's a hefty donation, man.
Did you see what he did for that UFC fighter? Have you seen that video and stuff?
No.
And there's like this UFC fighter who like was living on $7, similar to his situation before he blew up.
Yeah.
And he like went down to when he was training, like surprised him. So they interviewed the UFC fighter, and then The Rock came into the cage and like the guy was talking, he like slowly like walked around into his like peripheral vision, and then the UFC fighter was like, "What the hell?" And saw who it was and like started breaking down, like ran up to him and gave him like a massive hug and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So I mean, the Rock's he's a nice guy, and the 7-figure donation it can go, whether it's going to help actors who are struggling to pay their mortgages and pay for the essentials like food and shelter, all that kind of stuff. Hopefully it helps them.
The word I was thinking of was resources.
Resources, yes, yeah. Just the most essential of stuff. So hopefully that can be put to good use and can help the strike or help the strikers go on for as long as they need to get a fair wage, and so we don't go back to what was before where they constantly struggle and the studio execs, the top guys make over like what I think it's like over 30 million a year, but they get nothing. So
stupid.
Yeah, it is stupid. But yeah, what do you think on these contributions?
Yeah, I think it's good. it helps them with like resources. It might not like help them like pay mortgages and stuff like that, but like, the smaller stuff like water and whatnot, those resources to prepare for their strikes and fund the strikes as well. I think that's going to go a long way, and also help these strikers survive in their day-to-day lives, because they're not spending all their money on for them to live and to protest as well. But these this donation is going to help them a lot in terms of the resource side of the strikes.
Yeah.
And hopefully more celebrities step up and do the same. I mean, you don't have to go that extravagant. I mean, you can if you want. Fucking give them the whole paycheck for a film if you need to. But like, donating something simple like water, that's good. Even
go a long way.
Yeah, like even just, I don't know, give them like food or stuff like that. While they're out there, it's just one less thing for them to worry about. So hopefully more celebrities can get behind on that and match it in. Do more or do less. Who cares? Just support them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right. So the next news is Kevin Spacey. So whether you did or didn't know, back in 2017, there was accusations in regards to sexual assault to minors on his part. He got kicked out of the final season of House of Cards, pretty much killed his character off. And now, and now the charges of sexual assault for him have been dropped. He's been cleared off all these charges and whatnot. He apparently broke down as the UK jury made their decision. Yeah. And now he's free to work in Hollywood if anyone wants to take him up. So, James, what are your thoughts on Kevin Spacey's news?
Oh, this is tough. It's really tough to know where things go from here for Kevin Spacey. So, there's a lot of allegations against him when everything was kind of unraveling through Hollywood in terms of sexual assault and harassment and all that. So, he's been acquitted of all these charges, and this is not the first one that he's won. And he had another lawsuit against him from an actor who said when he was a teenager, Kevin Spacey forcefully made an advance on him and all that kind of stuff. He won that one as well, and I think he won defamation costs of around like $40,000, and then the other actor who accused him had to pay that in damages. So he's won twice now, and I think how many charges? I think there was like 9 charges against him.
Yeah, 9.
Yeah, and the jury decided to drop all of them. So I think there's really compelling evidence on both of those, or all those charges, that he didn't do that. But there are more allegations out there that they haven't taken to, the prosecutors and all that stuff. So there's a lot of allegations that haven't been clarified and investigated and gone through the judicial system. So we don't know if he did or didn't do that, but you look at him winning 2 of these really long cases and winning them both. It's kind of like, how do you judge his character? You still don't really know, because there's still lots of allegations out there, but he's been cleared of a lot of them already as well.
Yeah.
So if he's coming back into Hollywood, and if he can, he's got some leverage where he can say, look, I'm cleared as much as I can. Like, no one else is filing any police reports. I got nothing else to prove. I've proved what I can, and I haven't done this as shown. It's not about that, and whether he did do it or he didn't do it, it's about the studio making a business decision. Do you bring on Kevin Spacey, even if he didn't do any of the stuff that is, has any allegations? Do you bring him on regardless? This might just be a really sad thing where these allegations are all false. And I'm not saying they are, but if they are, it's destroyed his career, and it's put a lot of baggage on the Kevin Spacey name, that even if he clears all of it, the studios might not bring him back on just because
of the name.
Yeah, of the name. And that's sad. And, it's probably best that that they go through all the allegations and try and figure out, whether he did or didn't do it. But from the studio business standpoint of Kevin Spacey coming back into movies, they won't question his acting because he's a great actor. We can't deny that. But yeah, bringing him on, you have that name there, and you still have allegations that are up in the air. I don't think it's a smart move. Definitely don't bring him on to a big movie. I think maybe there might be a studio out there that's kind of, maybe they're perhaps struggling, close to, bankruptcy or liquidation. And so they bring on Kevin Spacey, his first big movie back, and they take a little bit of a business gamble there. And we'll see if people show up to that or not. I don't think people will, and I think it'll backfire, but I could see a small studio taking a risk like that and bringing him on board. But we'll have to see. I don't know if he makes a comeback or not. There's too much to his name that I don't see it happening.
Yeah, it's quite similar to Johnny Depp, except Johnny Depp was, he was proven innocent and whatnot. But ever since that, he hasn't really been in anything significant. He's still trying to find his feet, find out who he is and whatnot, and he's doing smaller stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe Spacey should take that sort of route, figure out who he is, what he wants to do, whether he actually wants to act. If he does, sure, go for it, but maybe start with something small, get your feet back into it, and then try swing for the fences and go to a bigger studio. Because, he's a fantastic actor. Anyone that's seen House of Cards will know that he's a great, phenomenal actor.
Yeah.
Because he literally carried that show, and because I know that final season was so shit without him.
Yeah.
Like, so shit. So yeah, hopefully he does get back into the Hollywood game eventually.
Yeah.
But I don't know if studios will take that risk, and especially for a big franchise like MC or Star Wars, I don't know if they'll want his name attached to that property because it's just like a little black stain there.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if he is.
What with allegations still up in the air, how would you treat that in terms of the studio, or like actually what do you think should happen there? Because usually in this case, when an actor has allegations against him, they kind of drop from everything immediately. Yeah. There's still allegations in the air, but he has been proven innocent in two of the major ones.
Yeah, I guess that's something different to what these allegations nowadays is that he has been proven innocent in two. Like, there's still a lot more to go through, but he's already proven his case that he's innocent and he didn't do it.
And
in two of them. So maybe you have to also take that into account. Like, you have these allegations, but it's also been proven too. So maybe all these allegations could fit in the same category, or maybe those are the allegations that he actually is.
Yeah.
It's literally a gamble on that studio's part. It's up to them to decide what they want to do.
Yeah.
If they want a quick buck, then boom, pull him in for the first movie, because I think all eyes will be on what he does first.
Yeah. And with those allegations, they're not taking it to the police or anything, so they can't be proven anyway because they're not doing anything about it. The original source of the allegation has to go to and file a police report and go on from there. And if they're not doing that, then Kevin Spacey has no way to prove his innocence or be shown that he's guilty until that process takes place.
Yeah.
Which doesn't start with Kevin Spacey, so he has no control over that.
Yeah.
So I agree in that perspective. The funny thing is, though, with Johnny Depp, he lost the first case. Where I think it was about the Amber Heard posted in the Sun, the publication, about how he was like a wife beater and stuff like that. And he lost the case in terms of the defamation of that article. And then they had the other one in which he won. So Kevin Spacey's won 2 out of 2, and Johnny Depp was 1 out of 2, and Johnny Depp seems to be having a lot of support and kind of starting to come back into things. So I don't know if we'll see Kevin Spacey have that.
Yeah. I think that's because of what his accusations were, like borderline pedophilia, pretty much. I think that will always sit bad in people's mouths.
Yeah, that because that one's really bad, eh?
Yeah.
Like if it's true, it's really dark. And the fact that Johnny Depp's case was like live and public, we could watch it along, and there was proof. There was recordings that were made available on the internet, and like notes and stuff like that. So you got a really close up look at the whole trial and case. But I didn't even know any of this Kevin Spacey stuff was going on, and then I just woke up one day and he's acquitted of all charges. Like, oh, okay. But yeah, we'll see what happens with him, I guess. Yeah.
Well, it's just a sit and wait game. Now, onto something more positive and upbeat is the ultimate nay in the movie, Strays.
Oh, here we go.
It is literally a movie you've been like endorsing to me, so don't even here we go me, mate. So Strays, it's pretty much a bunch of dogs, stray dogs, just living their life. It's R-rated, there's swears and stuff. It sounds stupid, but it actually looks really interesting. And they dropped their second trailer for it. James, what are your thoughts on this trailer? Are you still hyped for it as the time you first mentioned it to me?
Yeah, I'm very excited for this. I use the Nayan term for the Nayan movie. It's a palate cleanser. But the fact that, it got delayed, I think, from August to, not August, from April to August.
Yeah.
And that was due to the writer's strike and that they couldn't, promote through talk shows. And I was worried, oh, damn, they're going to push it back to like next year or something like this now because there's still no resolve. And I think this trailer here kind of locks in the release date. They're like, damn, we have to release now. So they're committed to the August release date, and that's good because I'm excited for this movie. It feels so rare that we get these kind of R-rated, quite crude comedies and injected with interesting concepts kind of as like a little cherry on top for them.
Yeah.
You can have your generic R-rated comedies, and I do enjoy that. It's probably my top 3 genres because some days, man, I just want to sit down and laugh. And, once we come, we have those bad days at work and it's a long day. And then we have to go to a screening for a 2-hour and 25-minute movie that's a slow drama.
Oh, yeah.
And
I hate those days.
if you've had a long day at work, it's quite a hard thing to do. But if you have a long day at work and you're going to go watch a 100-minute R-rated movie about like with some
animals,
with animals or some funny concept attached to it, it's going to be a good time. If you've had a good day at work and you're going to go see that, it's going to be an even better time. So these kind of movies I love, and from that trailer, it looks to just deliver exactly what I was expecting based on the first one. You're going to get some drug humor in there, some drinking humor, and just the concept of them being strays and swearing. I think it's just going to be a blast, and I just hope it's just a damn good time. It's kind of the exception to movies where I don't need deep themes or anything. I just be funny, just have a good adventure, and I'm going to have a blast with it. What about you?
Yeah. I know when you first mentioned Strays to me,
you were like, what are you talking about?
I was like, get the fuck out of here. Because the first thing that came to my mind was the cat game. And I don't like cats. So like as soon as James was like, yo, there's a movie about strays, I was like, fuck off. I don't want to go and watch another cat movie. So I already saw Cats, and James knows exactly how I was in that film. And I hated it. And I was like, oh no, this is like deja vu again for me. And then he was like, no, watch the trailer. I was like, I'm not going to watch the trailer. I was like, no, watch the trailer. And then he made me watch the trailer just before we did a podcast one day. I was like, this is not what I was expecting, but this is fully my type of movie, like the crude, dark humor, the unfilteredness of it, and the fact that it's animals doing it as well. It's just great. So yeah, I'm really excited for it now. That trailer was awesome. I don't think we need to see another trailer. In fact, I don't even think that trailer need to exist. I think that first trailer pretty much is a good way to market the film,
Yeah.
But yeah, and it sounds like as if Will Ferrell and Jamie Foxx is the two main voice actors in it.
Yeah.
And I think I feel they're just going to be playing themselves pretty much in this film, which is awesome.
Which is fine.
It's always great when actors play themselves, unless you're like Ryan Reynolds or The Rock, because that's all we get.
Playing yourself in a movie where it's not so self-serious is good.
Yeah.
But when it's trying to take itself seriously, no.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm all aboard for it. Thankfully, it might be the last movie we see before I head down. Review wise. So yeah, that will be a good way to end.
Cap things off. It's been a busy summer season for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That will do us on the Let's Serial podcast for today. Hope you enjoyed the show we've been listening from. If you have any questions about this episode, be sure to hit us up on social media. You can find us on X, TikTok, Pinterest, or YouTube. If you enjoyed our animated list and you agree, head over to one of those platforms and give us a message if you agree with them. Or if you have any other ideas that you want to hear us talk about, feel free to message. Don't be a stranger. Or if you want to see what else we get up to, head over to MovieGainz.com. We've got all the latest news from the film, TV industry. Also 4K media content, box office analysis, and a whole lot more. And be sure to sign up to our newsletter so you never miss anything out, ever. And hey, if you love today's episode and want to hear more of our voices, head over to Spotify, wherever you pod from, and search Let's Be Real and boom, have a roller coaster for a ride listening to us. Thanks everyone for tuning in today. Catch you on our next episode. We are MovieGainz, and we will see you later.
Peace.